We have a beautiful group of people here sitting and getting ready for our beginning of our talk, and then we're going to be blessed with a beautiful sound meditation to bring in what Milan called the black moon, the new moon, time for a restart. So what does that mean to us? We're talking about a restart. I mean, for the people that have been here through the retreat, they are going through a whole process of basically letting go of the old and starting anew. Now, it happens that about the midpoint of our retreat, we have this wave of energy and alignments that take place that is all about renewal. And how amazing would that be just to be involved at that perfect timing? And it's interesting because even when we arranged to have the retreat, that it was the week that was open for us, and all the other weeks weren't going to work. So you can see how perfect that was. Anyways, when we're talking about renewal, we're going through a process right now where we are, shifting from our old state of being, way of life, the way that we have seen our life before, to something completely new. And why are we doing that? This is the thing. A lot of times people say, well, my life is fine the way it is, or the fact that a lot of times they're judging their life or feeling that in some way it's not really nurturing for them. Well, the discomfort that we may be feeling, the dissatisfaction that we may be experiencing at this point in time is because we are looking at our life from a whole viewpoint that we may not even be aware of, from a higher perspective, and saying, okay, how is this life stream aligning with where we're entering, where our life is going into at this point in time? Because we are going through a powerful shift on the planet. And right now, with us going through this shift, we have to let go of the old, to allow a new part of ourselves to come through. And this new part of us is not anything of a resemblance of the old aspect of ourselves, where we were run by programs where we were living a 2D world, an inverted 3D world, with just a little glimpse of natural organic 3D. But also at that point in time, we also experienced a lot of limitations. We also experienced that the world was through polarity, having to struggle through life. And, as fun as that is, coming to play here, to experience that, we get to a point where we achieve a realization that, this has served, this has been a magnificent journey, but right now, we are no longer choosing to support that, because I am now, each one are saying to yourselves, even if it's unconscious, I am now ready to bring more awareness of who I truly am into this human experience, to play the role in an upgraded state. So all of us are going through a transformation of upgrading our human experience, and at the same time, we're also upgrading our playground. And as much as we had a great time to experience all these polarities and so forth, it has also allowed us to get stuck in a pattern. And at some point in time, you say, okay, this has been fun, but now what do we want to do? What do we want to create? And where do we want to step into our creation? And we can create from the old modality where we create through programs, belief systems, perceptions, and so forth, or we can create where we are bringing a consciousness that there is limitless potentiality and also cooperation, collaboration, and a playfulness. Because, all of us have come on the planet to do what? We came here to play. We came here to experience this. No one has been drawn here or pulled here or just sent down here just against our will. But then we ask, okay, what part of the will? All parts. It's from our human entity to our soul, even our physicalities, and it doesn't matter how we came about, who's been in our life, who played what role. It's all perfectly orchestrated for us to be here to come and play the way we wanted to play. So at this point in time, you've all chosen at one point or another to enter at different times and sequences on the planet with different states of consciousness to say, listen, this is what I want to do. I want to go there and experience that inverted matrix, or even the 2D state, where we are completely disconnected from any aspect of ourselves, and we just think we're a physical body with a mind and that we are a machine sort of thing. But even though we don't call it a machine, but we just act kind of that way, following, steps along the way and not experience that. So saying, I want to get comfortable to experience that part of me, to go in there and totally forget who I am, have the experience of being polarized, having the experience of total disconnect where there's nothing else, and then reactivate myself to be able to bring that consciousness so I can go from one state to the other. So some of us are been here for a while, and now we're going through this stage of conversion. Some of us has been here long enough that wanted to go through different extra stages along the way before we can actually make the shift. But now we have selected as a collective that it's time for us to go into this new state of being and create what people call a new world, but in actual fact, it's the same that we are upgrading, and that's what we're doing. So this evening, we're going to be doing a sound meditation, which Milan will more deeply explain all the alignments and everything that's involved with what's occurring at this point in time. So being July 31st, it is a completion. So basically, it's a new moon coming in, and they also call it a black moon, which, Milan's going to explain for you what that all represents and means and how that even plays a role. But the key thing that we need to know, and that we already know and feel, because a lot of us have felt a change today, a change like of a renewal, a change in a way where, the heaviness that we were feeling the other day or even yesterday or, for the last while, that in essence, we're starting to feel that in one way or another, it's like something has lightened. Now, we have gone through several stages to prepare us for this renewal, this new stepping of the new. And this brings in a lot of excitement for us because we've been ready for quite some time. I know some of us have been waiting for the collective to get to a certain point before we would actually collectively choose to go into this stage. And right now is where we collectively agreed that it's time. It's time. We're in alignment with it, and we're going to use whatever's coming through to prepare us to go through this. So what does that mean to us as in our experiencing moving forward? This is your opportunity to really look at your life and say, how do I want to transform this life? What do I want to choose? Where do I put my focus? What do I have in my life that no longer matches, that I can now take and release or change or actually make new connections or something of that nature? We will know as we're going along because we feel that urgency, that sense, that feel that it's time. It's time for me to shift my reality. It's time to co-create with other aspects of myself in alignment with the new states that we're entering into, the new beingness that we are choosing to experience as we are on the planet. And every time that we look into creating a new life, we can have the experience where the mind will react and feel uncomfortable or even react to the sense of, no, we want to keep the consistency because in essence, the ego mind, what we call the ego mind or the artificial intelligence at this point in time, has an issue with the whole thing of going into something new because it's uncharted territory. So in essence, it says, we have not been there. I don't have any reference point that I can relate with because, my job is to take whatever others have done, whatever we've done, whatever we have in the subconscious mind, whatever experiences of the past, and I will work towards to project something in the future so we keep a consistency. This is why sometimes we feel like we have to have 10 steps ahead before we know 10 steps ahead before we even take one step. Because the ego mind will say, we need to have everything mapped out. We need to know every part of what's going on. And yes, we're not going into new territories. Sorry, we're going to only use reference point. If we allow some, it's just a tiny bit. We're going to be playing safe. We're going to follow this. But there's a flip side to that. By doing that, we're playing small. By doing that, we're not venturing into other states of experience. We're not allowing ourselves to become more potentiality and more choice and more freedom. So with that and activating fear and anything else that's attached to it, we find ourselves going into a state where we walk around paralyzed and almost to a point where we take such little baby steps and at times even steps backwards because of that. But right now we're realizing that this is not suiting us anymore. It does not feel comfortable from this essence, from a source essence, from the core essence of who you are. And the reason is that because that part of you wants to grow, that part of you wants to expand, that part of you wants to be the adventurer, that part of you is always creative and imaginative, wants to see what else we can do. It does not concern about playing safe or anything of that. It doesn't even have that as a reference point in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't know what safety is, because how could you have a relationship between safety and unsafe when you are the master creator? You are creating your reality. If you want to create something that simulates unsafety, you will. But you're not if it's not in your best interest to experience that. Right now, what we are looking at is that we're playing a life that, yes, we have to be careful what we do, but from a soul perspective, it says, bring it on. Let's go play. Let's see what we can create. That's adventure. We don't have to create anything that's not necessary or beneficial. And anything that you even experience at times that may look like it's negative because of some perception, is still trying to break us out of the boundaries that we have set, the boxes that we've put ourselves in. So this is what we're doing right now. We're doing everything possible to step out of that. And we are now being supported energetically. And we have been for quite some time. But today is your opportunity to make the choice. The choice is, do I start brand new? Do I look at my life more closely and select from a conscious level, from a heart-centered space, where do I go next? What feels most in resonance? And abandon the idea that I have to hold on to the past. I have to hold on to what I'm familiar with. I have to hold on to the fact that polarity is my safety net, that in some way, I have to juggle my life so that it goes one way or another, but always be in control. Because we now start to realize, as we pay attention, the more we're trying to control, the more we feel out of control. Because in essence, the control that we're trying to project is the control from an ego mind. It's not the control of a designer, of a creator, of a master essence creator that we are. You can't even apply control when it comes to that level, because at that level, you are basically creating every facet of your experience. There's nothing outside of your creation. Even when you engage in the opportunity to co-create, you're still working with other aspects of yourself, and you're still the one that chooses what part you will play in that co-creation. So you see that the reference point of this whole thing that I need to control doesn't even come into play. Because in essence, it's like, what do I create? What do I choose to experience? And how far do I go? What levels do I reach today? What do I plug in as part of my experience? Who I play with? What do I do next? How do I bring what I came here with my own gifts, my own capacities to share, to express myself, and to share with all other aspects of myself? Because the more people get involved, the quicker that people shift within themselves, the playground shifts. The inverted matrix starts to collapse even more, even though at this point we already have 40% disabled the inverted matrix, and giving us more space to start navigating. And this was all in preparation for us to go into this new realm that we're stepping into of this renewal. So in essence, it's like taking some of the brakes out, some of the inputs that we've been receiving, that's stimulating within ourselves that, we got to be careful that, the world's falling apart. Well, it's not falling apart. We're just adjusting it. We're fine-tuning it to match who we are. It's like anything. Someone moves from one house to another, okay? So you move into a new house. What usually happens? You go into the house and you set it up to match your tastes. what you love about the house. You're going to move, paint, do all types of things. But what changed? You're stepping into a new house is that you're bringing your viewpoint, your way of experiencing, your expression into that home, making it a place that you want to live. And this is what we're doing. But what we're bringing in at this point in time, we're bringing in our higher aspect into this home. This is our new home. And how do we want to redesign it? What colors, what playfulness, what expressions do we want to put into it? So that's what we're doing. We're co-creating a new playground, a new house, a new place to play. And that's what we're doing. But it starts with us. We're the one that changes, and then we're changing collectively the playground. That's why with the idea and understanding that we are transforming the human experience, and what does that even mean? So let's take a look at that. What does it mean to transform the human experience? Yes, we're having a human experience. But is that it? Is it locked up? That's it? That's our human experience? No more than what we've experienced thus far? Or is there even more potentiality available in the human experience? Isn't there a different way to express it? Different ways to experience it? Different ways to create within this reality? To create systems, to create an environment that matches more where we're going into? So the transformation of the human experience is, how do we play the human game? What level of consciousness do we plug in this play? And that's what we're doing. The more we become conscious, more we connect with that source essence that we are, the more we are aware that we have the freedom to redesign this human experience, because it is not locked up. In fact, it's an open platform. It's up to us how we want to shape it. But we're now coming more to the realization that we can do that. For the longest time, we believed that what was already set and what certain people that we gave authority to were the only ones that can set the rules. We are coming to a point where there are no rules, because things are changing so quickly. To apply a rule today will be already obsolete tomorrow, because we are changing that quickly. So in essence, it's going, okay, we're going to open the platform. Let's go play in any way that we choose. But we are now also bringing in that knowing that we have the freedom to do that, and that we actually can tap into other potentials of how we can design this human experience. And that's what we're doing. As we redesign the human experience, our playground needs to redesign to match the new version of the human experience. And that's what we're doing. Today you're given the offer, you're given the opportunity with the energies to bring you into this newness, to bring you in this opportunity to say, this is a fresh start. And it doesn't mean that tomorrow morning or later today that your life is completely changed. The commitment is, at this point, I start new. And what does that mean? You start looking at your life. You start looking at what matches, what is in alignment for you, and what is not. And each step of the way say, okay, this part of my experience, I've saturated, I've already have enough of this, so I am done with this. Not that you're judging it, but just stepping into it and letting it go. And then you say, I want to plug this in. I've always wanted to bring this craft, or this creativity, this imagination, this part of my experience, and plug it in and enjoy it. And that's what we're doing. We're plugging in different aspects of our journey. And that's where we are redesigning our journey. So at this point in time, the commitment's being made, the energies are locked in for you, and then you start taking the steps, one step at a time. And you'll notice as each step you make, the more alignment you will feel, and the bigger steps you're going to want to take. Because in essence, it's going to feel much more natural. Many of us have experienced where we have been timid or restrictive to have a certain experience in our life because of fear, because of the fact that you've never done it before. And then you take the plunge, or you take a small plunge where you start to experience something different, something new, and it stirs up excitement. And it also shows that it's capable. In fact, that it's not even dangerous. In fact, that it's beyond any of those, and it's actually fun. It actually feels natural for you. So what are you going to do? Oh, well, I'm going to step it up. I'm going to play even further. I'm going to go into the depth of it. And this is what we end up doing. It's automatic. This is us. This is how we work. Our natural operating system, not from the operating system that the ego has always projected, which has been a great experience. But at this point in time, the smallest plunge will turn into bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's not that we're putting ourselves at what people like to believe is a risk or something of that nature. No, you're entering in other levels of adventures and playfulness. So whatever you start, the fact is starting. The fact is just connecting with the waves that are moving you and start shifting your life. And you'll see that the steps become more and more bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Before you know it, in a short period of time, you're going to see such profound changes of how you see, understand, experience, what choices you make, what actions you take, what directions you go. And the best part of it is you start to step away from the seriousness, the heaviness of life, the survival, the struggle, the sacrifice part, and then you start venturing into the playfulness, the creativeness, the imaginative part, the going into states of pleasure of every aspect of it and looking forward to every day what you can accomplish rather than the limitations that we may have experienced thus far. Okay? I'm not saying that anything that we've experienced in the past is wrong in any way, shape, or form, or was less than. It was all perfect, and we've played it perfectly. But now, what are we doing? We're just choosing a new stream. We're choosing a new life stream. We're choosing a new way to experience this playground before we choose to go into a different playground. So right now, you're here. You're here, you're listening because this resonates with you. This is actually triggering within you at this point in time the readiness. And we're going to be supportive with the sound meditation that's going to be done this evening because the frequencies are being channeled to allow us to connect with those energies that are supporting us and also to activate already codes that have been in your body. And a lot of these codes were originally there from our natural blueprint. And that gets stimulated, but it also gets upgraded at the same time because there's a lot of upgrading that has been experienced for you at this point. So you're already ready. It's your choice to take the action. So what do you believe? What do you connect with? Do you connect with yourself, who you truly are, the infinite master creator? Or do you still want to give power to a program that basically does everything possible to get you to go walking backwards and to get smaller and smaller and smaller and to feel that in one way you have no control, you have no power, that you are dictated by something outside of you? Or you go with this and you fly and you play and you experience and see no limits. That's the choice is yours. So join us with this beautiful sound meditation that Milan Likon will be blessing us to do. So at this time, we're going to, and Joanne Holtby, both of you, that's right. This was a beautiful co-creation, and their energy together, and of course, if you guys are going to introduce yourselves so that we don't shift it yet because we're going to still use the hand mic. We're doing the techie stuff at the same time. But as they come up, they will introduce, and they will also share what prepared them for this experience and to bring what they're bringing to you this evening. Now, they will also share the inspiration and even the alignments that took place at the time, because in essence, when we talked about it, we both knew something was happening today. And it worked out so well that we have a group of people that are here with us at a 7-day retreat, and we happen to be about the middle point right now to experience this retreat. But at the same time, Milan and Joanne felt very inspired and guided at this point in time. Yes, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to share because this is our contribution to help with these changes that are coming place, these activations within us and so forth. So Joanne and Milan, please. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Franco.
After you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being very patient with us this evening. And thank you for joining us. We're very excited to provide this sound activation for you this evening. We're both vibrating quite extensively right now in preparation for this, so it's going to be very exciting. The new moon. We're experiencing a black moon today, which, you know, it may have a bad connotation, but it shouldn't. There's no bad. It's only black because it's a new moon. A black moon can sometimes be represented as the second new moon within a month. So it's the new moon's representative of a full moon, a blue moon, when you have two full moons in 1 month. So this is the equivalent of a new moon, which is really rare. It's the only one this year. So that's a special event. And also we have Mercury going direct tonight. It's been in retrograde for the last 3 weeks. This particular retrograde has been quite active, as we all know. We experienced it early this evening. And it tends to be the strongest when it starts and when it ends. So unfortunately, this is the consequences when we try to bring this out at this time. We have to sort of rise above these challenges, and we have, thankfully. The new moon actually happens tonight at 11:11 p.m., which for those into numerology, that's quite a number. And also today's date with the month and the day equal 11, 731. So that's 11. So, and 11:11 tends to be a manifestation number. So this is really supportive. There's so many signs from the universe that what Franco has described is really what's happening. And even at the, you know, where the microcosm, it's happening out in the macrocosm, because we have the new moon moving forward at 11:11 this evening. We've got Mercury retrograde. When it goes direct, it's a big push forward. So the retrograde point is a time to reflect, retrograde, and reassess what your plans were. And now that it goes direct, it's a big push. There's a big push for Mercury to move ahead with those plans. And it goes direct this evening at 11:52, which is 8 minutes before the end of the month. So we're starting 8/1 tomorrow, a new month. So we got new everywhere. The universe is just showing us new, and they've timed this perfectly for us tonight, as well as everything that Franco has discussed. So we're not only feeling it, but the energies of the universe are supporting it. It's what we're going to be tapping into. We've got our bowls are also represented by the planets. We have the sun, Mercury, all these planets that are quite active. So we'll be utilizing those. The moon is in Leo as well. It's joined the sun in Leo. That's why it's a new moon. They're both in the same sign. And Leo is a sign that represents courage, adventure, creativity. So now that we have the moon, the sun, Mercury actually will be going into Leo. It's just in Cancer. So now that it goes direct, within a week, it'll come back into Leo. We also have Venus in Leo. So there's a lot of this adventure. Let's go out there with courage and start something new. So all of those things that we've been holding back on, all of those things we've been sort of mulling about in our head, or dealing with certain programs that are stopping us, for whatever reason, fear, whatever is stopping you. So now is the time that all of that has been lifted, as Franco had mentioned, and we have support of the universe, and we're going to pull in all of this energy and try to help you make this as easy of a transition as possible to support you. And we will have the recording of this as well, so that as things start to get a little intense for you, potentially in the next month, please refer back to this and utilize it, and let that energy vibrate into you, so that you will feel that comfort, because that's what we're embedding into this sound activation today, to provide a calm and a steady energy flow, so that you can stay in your center when things are starting to get a little out of control, so that if you feel that way. But really nothing is out of control. It's all perfectly planned, and it's all perfectly orchestrated and played out. So all we have to do is start playing with it, and lose our fear, lose our programs, and enjoy our life. One last comment about the moon again is that the moon typically has represented emotions. And this shift that's happening today we've always sort of looked at the moon controlling our emotions, lunatics, right? It has the moon Luna right in it. So, and there's always been that, even though the authorities won't say it's true, when a new moon happens, people do start to lose it a little bit, and that control of that emotion from the moon has been shifted. The full moon, sorry, yes, at the opposite end. But it also affects you when a new moon is. I mean, you're tired, you're more moody potentially as well in a different kind of way, depressed. So it's time to take our emotions back and own them and not let the moon control us. We can do that now. So, and this is what's shifting now. So again, we're trying to utilize this meditation today to allow you to enjoy your emotions and not to suppress them, play with them, but don't let them control you. So, and with that, I guess we'll begin. There'll be a short little silent period here. We're gonna have to switch over a few microphones, but don't worry if you don't hear anything, the sound will come back on. So just bear with us for a minute. Thank you. I'd like to start the evening off with everyone here. We've got a wonderful audience of about 30 people with us, and everyone at home, online, and around the world. We are broadcasting globally, and it has been confirmed that there are quite a few people from around the world that are joining us. So this truly is a global event, and we are surrounding the world with this energy that we will be vibrating out. So it's going to be quite powerful. So what I'd like to do to start off is to do 3 ohms with everyone, just to start their bodies vibrating. So we'll start getting them vibrating internally with our own vibration, and then that'll help with the absorption of the vibrations that we'll be sending out. So just take a second. So there'll be three ohms. We'll start with a big breath in. Please set your intention for this meditation and activation. We have set one for everyone, but please set your own as well. Thank you. slowly start to come back to your body. Sense your surroundings. Feel the newness around you without even opening your eyes. You can sense it already. It's calling you. Your new life. Are you going to answer the call? Let's answer it together. I hope you all enjoyed the sound activation. I hope you all feel a little different. I know you do. I do. Ready for the new?
Ready
All
for
right.
the new.
Let's welcome in that new moon and Mercury retrograde. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night and enjoy the new everything. And have a new adventure. All right. Woo! Thank you.
Thank you.